encyclopedia. Bakit nawawala na naman to? Meron pa? What's happening here?
Meron po.
Okay, mayroon. Now, ang sinasabi rito, ng Britannica, ang parsing means to divide a sentence into a grammatical parts and identify the parts and the relations to each other. What I'm saying is, kanina kinikwento ko sa inyo, I was prompted by this because meron kausap yung isa kong kaibigan at humingi ng tulong sa akin. Pinipilit niya yung kanyang personal interpretation sa 1 Corinthians 5:5. Doon sa 1 Corinthians 5:5, kung nadadaanan nyo yun, meron daw sinasabing spirit, and then he started to explain all by himself kung ano yung meaning ng spirit. And then sinabi niya dun na nagbabalik yung spirit. Oh, come on. Sabi ko, teka, ang siguro magagawa ko lang dito is to ask him, ano ba yung meaning niyan ng spirit? Okay? So, pag sinabi natin, okay, applying, this is just a story of what happened. Well, yeah, that was last Friday. When you think about the rule of definition, alam na natin yung rule of definition that would include the study of the word, and when you do study of the word, hindi pwedeng mawala yung going back to the original Hebrew or Greek. Kaya study of the word Now, if we will just dwell on what we read in the Bible, magkakaroon tayo ng pare-parehong pagtatalo, at sabi ko, magkakaroon tayo ng debate niyan, pero I'm not for the debate, I am for learning. So pag sinabing spirit kako, yung binasa mo doon sa 1 Corinthians 5:5, ang original Greek nun is pneuma, no? And when you say pneuma, how did it happen? So bumalik ako doon sa Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. At siguro naman alam na natin lahat na yung Genesis verse 2, verse 2, chapter 2 verse 7. Yun yung pagkagawa sa tao And then you see, out of the dust of the ground, tapos God breathed into his nostril, ayun, and man became the living soul. Pag sinabi kasing living soul, again, going back to the study of the word, yun yung nephesh. And the nephesh is no less than like you and me, who is a soul that is alive. Are you still alive over there? Yun ang sabihin ng nephesh. Now, I hope I am talking with a living person. Yun
Yes,
yung nephesh. Okay, can I continue now? Now, what happened to this living soul, or we say it as a spirit? Pag pinuntahan natin yung, sabi ko, please, let us just dwell on what the Bible says. And so, inirefer ko siya sa Isaiah chapter 12 verse 7, ay maliwanag naman doon na bumabalik ang alabok sa lupa na kanyang pinagmulan. At yun namang pneuma or the breath ay bumabalik sa Diyos na siyang may-ari nito. Kaya tayo ngayon, nag-uusap tayo, yung ating binubuhay. It's not our breath, it is God's breath. Kaya itong breath na ito ng ating buhay ay dapat talagang ingatan, because this is not our own. This is just a borrowed life. Sabi ko sa kanya, now, Ang tanong, sabi mo kanina kako mayroong tawag dito, mayroong nagbabalik. Okay? Ay bakit ang sabi ng Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5, yun ding araw na yun ay wala na siyang kaalaman ni ano pa man. Paano ka ako nagbalik? Saan mo binasa? Ngayon, I am basing my explanation vis-a-vis with biblical interpretation at binabasa ko lang sa Bible. So, if you are trying to tell me, ay, nawala na naman ako. Kita nyo pa? Hello?
Meron po.
Meron po.
Okay. So, iyon ang importansya. So, nanahimik siya and parang naintindihan niya ang pag-aaral ng Biblia. Kaya nga yung ating unang sinabi doon, yung study to show thyself approved unto God. Diba? So, tingnan nga natin. Balikan uli natin yung 2 Timothy 2:15 because this is the foundation of our understanding of the totality of the scriptures. Now, sabi doon kanina, sequences of question. Let us try this. Okay. So the first in parsing is that is to divide, is to study. Now, to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So let us try to say the sequences of question, no? Kaya pag nagbabasa tayo ng Bible, let us try to ask ourselves while studying the Bible, what are the sequences of questions that is in the text where I am reading? Tingnan natin, oh. The first is what? Ano yun? Ano yun? Ang sabi, study. Pagkatapos ang sabi ron ay why? Bakit? Bakit ako mag-i-study? To show thyself approved unto God. Okay, sino yung mag-i-study? Who? Aba, yung workman that needed not to be ashamed. So, yung kausap ko medyo napahiya siya kasi hindi niya pala alam yung salita. And I was trying to ask him, is this a copy-paste from somewhere else? Sabi niya, na-copy-paste ko lang po yan you see? So, we are approved unto God only as a workman that needed not to be ashamed. So how will I not be ashamed? Next question. Why? Because I'm rightly dividing. Yeah? I'm rightly dividing. At pagkatapos, what will I divide? Of course, the word of truth. This is extremely necessary because what we are here studying is the word of truth. Di po ba? So at this point, bago tayo magpatuloy, I'd like to ask a reaction. Malinaw po ba yung study ng parsing?
Yes po.
Did you follow?
Opo, Pastor, opo.
Kaya
Yes,
pag tayo nag-aaral ng Bible, hindi lang just, nung unang panahon kasi parang bata pa ako noon. Ngayon na may nagbabata-bataan pa rin. Mayroong yellow card na ibibigay sa amin sa Sabbath School at chechikan mo. Nagbabasa ng Biblia ng tapusan. Chechikan yun. I don't know if Pastor Arnel has experienced that. Who among you have experienced that? Chinechikan yung mga card. Na-experience nyo ba yon?
Yes po.
Yes
po.
So, you see? So, nare-recall natin yon. Nag-aaral nga, nagbabasa ng Bible, but this is more advanced to say, study. And when we study, that is the only time where we are approved unto God. And so we will not be ashamed as a workman Because we are rightly dividing the word of truth. Very clear. So, lahat ng tanong dito, yeah, we have posted 5 questions. Hindi ako ang sasagot dyan eh. It is always scriptural based, and the answer is, let the Bible speak. Oh, ganda. Now, let's try. Ito, napaka-sarap din ito eh. Kasi, subukan nga natin ang parsing sa prophecy. And in all those years, when we were young, nadinig na natin yung mga prophecy, ang daming prophecy na nating narinig. And then we will start with the book of Daniel, the book of Isaiah, the book of Ezekiel, and then up to Revelation. So, pagka pinuntahan natin, can anybody read please Daniel chapter 12 verse 4? Daniel chapter 12 verse 4. Anybody found it? Okay, has anybody found it? May nakakita na po ba? Daniel chapter 12 verse 4 and 9.
Pastor,
Hello?
Daniel chapter 12, verse 4.
Verse 4.
Verse 4, but you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Chapter 9, verse 9.
Verse 9.
He said, go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end.
Okay. You see, if we will try to make a little parsing on Daniel and the study of the text, mayroong command sa kanya na tataka na eh. Sarahan mo yung aklat, tataka na. And so in the preceding verses 5 to 8, ay hindi pa rin maintindihan ni Daniel kung ano yun, bakit sasarahan eh. O sabi ng anghel doon sa verse 9 eh, you go thy way, just sarahan mo. Pero ang emphasis nito, that's why we need and very, very extremely important na tingnan natin yung prophecy because yung palang sinasabi kay Daniel, by the way, we all know that Daniel has no chapter 13. Tama po ba? See? And so, ang very point na ini-stress kay Daniel, kaya lang bubuksan ay sa time of the end. So this is the importance of our study because it is in the time of the end. Pagdating kasi sa time of the end, ang millennium events ngayon, the millennial events are numerous na pag hindi natin ito babantayan, hindi natin makikitang yung pala'y napaka-importante. Kanina lang may nag-post sa akin eh. Yun daw si Pope Francis ay may discussion doon, may video. Abay talagang ina-acknowledge ang important ng Sabbath. And yung Sabbath na binabanggit niya ay yung Sabbath of the Jews. May maganda, di ba? Maganda po ba? Binabanggit ni Pope Francis?
Opo, Pastor.
Pero pag pinag-aralan mo, and then i-connect mo doon sa kanyang papal encyclical, and you know what is a papal encyclical? Yun ay talagang sulat ng Papa as a directive. And you are able to encounter the so-called Laudato Si, at doon mo makikita sa tatlong items na binibigyan ng emphasis, yung pala Sunday yung rest na sinasabi niya. Because when we say Sabbath, it is not pertaining to a day, but it is pertaining to a rest. Tama? Wala dong sinasabi sa Sabbath or sa Old Testament Shabbaton, which is the day. Kaya yung sinasabi ng Pope, pag medyo ikaw ay natuwa at ikaw ay na-hype, aba siya, pina-acknowledge na, but yung Laudato Si ang nag-define kung ano yung Sabbath sa kanila, and that falls on Sunday. Kaya sabi ko, hindi basta tayo biglang matutuwa. Pag-aralan nyo talaga yung totality. Okay, now, let's now use the word of precedence. By the way, the rule of precedence, brethren, which is one of the 8 rules of hermeneutics, is mayroong bang gumamit na nung word na ito na nakita nyo as you are studying the word, as we are studying the word, may gumamit na ba nito? Yun ang rule of precedence. Okay, now, tingnan natin, because we are dealing with prophecy, no? And I beheld, that is Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast. So you will understand in verse 11, the first line, why it was written as another beast, because Revelation 12 tells us that there was a first beast. Kita nyo? So, as the text goes on, it describes what this first beast, as a second beast, or another beast, is trying to do. He is trying to do and urge everybody to worship the first beast. Okay? I think I need one more item here, because if the question is, who is the first beast? The last line of verse 12 clearly defined who is that, whose deadly wound was healed. Dito papasok ngayon. Tingnan natin, no? And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw, okay, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. May 6 dito, no? May 6 dito. Because we are talking, nagamit na ba to? We are going to identify who is that first beast. Sa Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea. Saan siya nakatayo? Sa sand of the sea. And saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Talagang very clear dito. It was a repeated word. The sand of the sea. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. So when Revelation 13:11 says another beast, we are going to refer back to the first beast, because verse 12 says he is doing the power, exercised the power of the first beast. So we have to identify the first beast. Now let us go on, move on. Yung palang sea, sabi sa 17:15 ng Revelation, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the war sitteth are people, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. All right. If we are going to do a reference text, itong multitude, and using another version, itong multitude ang tawag ng what's this? Bible Standard Version, what's this? Bible Basic English. Yung multitude ay army. Ang kanyang translation doon, multitudes are army. Bible Basic English Version. Yun, pumasok ang different versions na importante sa pag-aaral. Now, tingnan natin, no? Na-identify natin yung C, yung pala ay maraming tao. And then the next is having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns, 10 crowns, and upon his head is the name of blasphemy. Mga kapatid, this is prophetic, and now we can apply the rule of precedence and the rule of historical event that took place with this. Tingnan natin, oh. Okay, the role of precedence and the role of historical background. Tingnan natin to. If we will turn, I think I have to ask somebody again. Ganda yung may participation eh. Do you like participation?
Yes po.
Okay, let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 23 and 24. We are going here, as you read, that is the rule of precedence. But as we explain it, that is the rule of historical background. Let's go. Daniel chapter 7, verse 23 and 24.
Daniel 7:23.
Okay.
He gave me this explanation. The fourth beast is a fourth kingdom that will appear on the earth. It will be different from all the other kingdoms and will devour the whole earth, trampling it down and crushing it. 24. The 10 horns are 10 kings who will come from this kingdom. After them, another king will arise, different from the earlier one, who will subdue 3 kings.
So we begin to understand what is that referring when we use the rule of precedence. It was also used in Daniel chapter 7. And so we begin to understand that this beast, these different horns, are the sequences or the succession of power of the 4. You can recall all the power of the 4 beasts. You started from Babylon, then what is next?
Medo-Persia.
Medo-Persia. What is next?
Greece.
Greece. And then after Greece, Rome. And here, we found out the rule of precedence. It was used also in Daniel 7, and the historical background of it is very clear. It clarified what Revelation 17:15 is saying, that these are multitudes, nations, and tongues. And then, Bible Basic English, multitude is army. Ano po bang ginamit sa pag-aaway ng 4 na bansang yan? Pag ako'y nagbibiro sa church, sabi ko parang hindi naman nagduraan sila eh. Di ba? Ang ginamit nila, army talaga eh. Tama pala yung Bible Basic English Version, army. Now, sa verse 2, ang mabigat nito eh. You know, we know the history of this, huh? How shall I say this? The history of this is yung 7 heads and 10 horns. All of us who can recall historical event like the uprooting of the Heruli, the Suevi, and the Ostrogoths. Kaya po yung 10 horns ay naging 7 na lang. Okay? At pag sinabing crown, 10 crowns, edi mga hari ito kasi kinukoronahan. Kaya lang, ang masakit nito, they all have the name of blasphemy. Why? History will tell us that they are all pagans. They do not believe in the real God. So in verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto the leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth is the mouth of the lion. So, nakita nyo yung mga beast na yun sa Daniel 7 eh. Daniel described them in different beasts. Ito ang maganda rito. Look at this. Hey, why are you not moving? Okay. Nandun yung binanggit na, binasa kanina, nandito pala yon. Okay? Now, sa Revelation chapter 2, ang mabigat, doon sa last line ng Revelation chapter 2, last line, yung palang gumagamit sa first beast ay the dragon. No? Tatlong binigay ng dragon eh. His power, his seat, and his authority. And this is the reason why the Seventh-day Adventist understanding of prophecy in terms of parsing can easily point to what power is this. Well, when we say the dragon in Revelation chapter 12 verse 9, ano pong sabi? Let's do another precedence. 12:9 of Revelation. Precedence, again, I'll repeat, no? Was this term or this word was used in some other text? Pakibasa po ang Revelation chapter 12 verse 9.
Pastor?
Yeah, Revelation
chapter 12
verse 9. Okay.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He
so
was cast
na-identify natin yung dragon, ano?
Out with him.
Na-identify ba yung dragon? Hello.
Opo, yung
identify clearly, no? Clear. Why? Hello.
Serpent of old.
The devil. So, very clear. Ang ginamit na salita ay dragon, and when we use the word precedence, the rule of precedence, yung pala ginamit din sa 12, and that became a very clear injunction na alam na natin kung sino ang dragon. Kaya lang, ang sabi rito ay, his power, his seat, and his great authority, yung pala ang ibinigay doon. Kaya ang dapat nating alamin, sino kaya itong binigyan na to? Baka si Pastor Arnel ang binigyan niya na. Yung dragon. Pastor Arnel, andyan ka pa ba? Wala. Nawala si Pastor Arnel. Okay.
Nakuha na niya yung power niya, Pastor.
Now, tingnan natin. Yung palang dragon ang nagbigay ng power and the seat and his authority. So if the question comes in as we do our parsing, sino kaya itong binigyan? Verse 3 answers it. Ano nga? Ang verse 3 ng chapter 13. Chapter 13, verse 3.
Chapter 13, verse 3.
Yeah.
And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was held, and all the world marveled and followed the best.
You see the answer to the question of who is this one that was given a power and his seat and great authority? Aba, ang sabi ng verse 3, very clear, kaya importante. Na-identify na natin. Tingnan natin yung historical background ng verse 3. All right. And I saw one of his head, as it is read, binasa na sa atin, was wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. Kung binabasa lang natin, and then we will not try to go back on the historical background of this verse, ay di medyo, yun ang ganda po ng SDA. No? Alam natin yun. And this is prophecy. Now, yung pong wounding of that beast, exactly ang lalabas ang nasugatan Okay? Ang nasugatan doon, when we go to the rule of historical background nitong verse 3, you can always recall as it was in the old times. Matagal na natin itong pinag-aaralan What we are just doing is parsing and applying hermeneutical rule. Noong si Napoleon Bonaparte, sino nga po yung sinugo na general? Nakaka-recall pa ba tayo noon?
Belcher or
General Berter, Pastor.
All right. So,
General Bertier.
you see how history can explain this? Nung si General Bertier ay sinugo ni Napoleon Bonaparte, ay kanyang pinahuli sino? Ay gumaganda na ang kapangyarihan masyado ng Vatican ng kapapahan ng papacy ay nagkakaroon ng power. Abay, sabi ni Napoleon, pero medyo teka, ako yata yung masasapawan nito pinahuli kay General Bertier si Pope Leo VI, and the next day Pope Leo VI died in prison, meaning the power of the papacy was cut off. Biglang nawala, nasugatan. You see? Yun ang ibig sabihin ng nasugatan. Ay kaya lang dun sa number 10 nitong ating parsing, ay the deadly wound was healed. Alright? The deadly wound was healed. So, pag tinanong mo, hey, how is this deadly wound healed? Paano? Babalik na naman tayo sa history when Premier Cleopas nagpalit-palit na siyempre ang mga premier. Ay nung si Cleopas na ang premier, abay na-convert siya sa Catholicism. Na-convert. And nung ma-convert siya, wala siyang naiging epekto kundi yung napabalik uli ang kapangyarihan ng papacy. Etan nyo? So, was it healed? Kaya lang mga kapatid, a little of government understanding at pagli-legislate ng batas. Maski pa ibinalik ni Cleopas, hindi masyadong authentic at walang ebidensya kapag hindi nakasulat, nakalagda, nakakontrata. No? Kaya nung panahon na ni Mussolini and the wounded power to death, ay ang pinakamataas ay College of the Cardinals. Mga kapatid, hanggang sa oras na to pag magpapalit ng Pope ang College of the Cardinal ang tinatawag, and the College of the Cardinal are the ones members voting for another Pope. So, sabi ni Gaspare, ay dapat ito ay mayroong contract na matibay. So, ang ginawa nila ay nagpirmahan si Mussolini at si Gaspare. Now, sabi ko kanina sa legislation, kahit po nagawa na ng Senado, kahit po nagawa na ng Kongreso, at walang napirmahan na ng presidente. After all, to the president, he can approve or he can veto. Pag sinabi yung veto, hindi niya pipirmahan, ay dapat pipirmahan. Pero wala pa ring ebidensya kung ito'y hindi ilalathala. There must be ilalathala sa news. Wow. Nung magpirmahan si Gaspare, look at the detail of history. At saka si Mussolini, that was February 11 of 1929. At kinabukasan, immediately the day after, headline siya sa San Francisco Chronicle dated February 12, 1929, headline, ang lalaki. Kita naman sa Jet Daily Inquirer, di ba? Yung headline, ang lalaki ng letra. Nakalagay doon, The Healed Wound. Wow, it was legalized. Kaya napabalik. Alam nyo yung mula kay Mussolini, mula kay Napoleon Bonaparte, hanggang dito sa pirmahan ng 1929, this is the so-called pagkasugat ng kapapahan, yun po yung 1,260 years. Ang ganda ng history ng Adventist. So talaga sabi ko, pag ako'y nagbibiro, hindi ako aalis kahit kailan sa Adventist. God help me. Sana hindi ako aalis. Why? Because when we study the Word of God, and yung last na line dito, and all the world wondered after the beast. Sino ang pinakamasikat sa buong mundo na leader ng isang pananampalataya? Sino ang pinakasikat?
Pope. Pastor.
Sino?
Yung Pope, Pastor.
Oh, you see? Tama ba ang Bible? And all the world wondered after the beast. Ang ganda pag-aaral talaga ng Bible. Hindi tayo kayang iligaw. Dinaig nga si Wilson. Dinaig ngayon si Presidente ng Amerika. Si Biden. Dinaig siya. Because Biden is subservient even these days. He is subservient to the Pope. Come on, ganda. Nakasulat bang yun nga ang mangyayari? And all the world wondered after the beast. You see how the importance of historical background plays its role in the understanding of the Bible. Now, in the absence of the understanding of historical background, we cannot identify what these texts are saying. No? Ang ganda. Now, ito yung matindi sa verse 12. We have already identified the first beast. And the power of the first beast, a second beast, is being exercised. But what power is he exercising is the power of the first beast. Kaya nga importante na identify na natin, mayroon palang first beast, alam natin kung paano umahon sa dagat, alam natin kung sinong gumagamit do sa first beast, alam natin na siya'y nasugatan, alam natin na siya'y gumaling, yung pala yung power na ginagawa nitong first beast. Yung second beast, which is termed in verse 11 as another beast. Ang kanyang ginagawa ay to worship the first beast. And very clear na identify natin who was that beast that was wounded and was healed. Ay hindi tayo maliligaw. Ganda mga kapatid. This is what I love in applying hermeneutics, and this is what I love in applying parsing, and this is what I love in Adventism. Well, if there is somebody here who is not yet an Adventist, you can ask question or you can be baptized. Dalawa lang yan eh. Kung mayroong hindi Adventist tayong kasabay. Meron ba? Meron dito?
Wala po.
Ha? Meron ba?
Wala. No
Oh,
Adventist.
yeah. Just in case lang kung mayroon. Pwede siyang magtanong or pwede siyang pabaptize. Ang ganda kasi. Because we are conveying the biblical truth. Applying. Okay, now, doon natapos yung application natin ng rule of historical background, the rule of precedence using parsing. So, doon po ako natapos. I thank the Lord. Wala na po for this time because we are dealing only with parsing in prophecy.
Amen.
Thank you po
Thank
for
you,
listening.
Pastor. Thank you.
So I hope after this one, pwede na tayong magbinyag by using prophetic injunction. Ano? Parang ang hirap-hirap. Yung pala, ang dali-dali lang. Oh. So purihin natin ang Panginoon. Your church, my church, our church is indeed the true church. Nauunawaan natin ang biblical precepts and understanding. So thank you very much. God bless us all. But let us stay firm in faith. Okay. The next time we will use these rules in trying to establish the issue of salvation. Diyan sa pagliligtas na yan, ang dami ring problema ng ibang pananampalataya. So it is applying parsing now in the simple rule of salvation. How to be saved. Yun po. So watch out for the next item.
Pastor,
Hello.
thank you so much for the very nice discussion. We have still remaining time for you. Baka pwede po silang mag-open ng mga questions.
Baka may gusto.
Hanggang 5:45 kayo or 6 o'clock kasi 6 o'clock pa po yung kasunod na subject kay Ma'am
Aba, marami pala tayong.
Marami po kayong oras kahit na mga 50 minutes pa. Hanggang 6 o'clock po.
So, hindi ko tatalakayin yung ito, tatalakayin ko. Gusto nyo?
Kung meron pa po kayong additional na topics na naka-prepare, pwede nyo po munang i-diretso, Pastor, para pa-consume nyo po yung time natin.
Sige. In the councils on health, hindi ito. In the councils on health, kaya nga gusto kong mag-discuss ng konti dito muna sa health. Sa councils ng health, 525, ang sabi ron, ang health pala is the entering wedge for the gospel to prosper. Maganda pala yun, no? And so, we will now use again parsing in terms of health. Na consider na po ba natin yung Revelation chapter 14 verse 7 na yung pala ay health, mayroong bahagi doon ay health. 14 verse 7, pakibasa po.
Chapter 14 verse 7.
Verse 7.
Saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and springs of water.
punong-puno po yan talatang binasa nyo pag pinars natin. No? Ang sabi ron ay, tingnan natin, no? By the way, wait lang. Okay. Wala yung notes pero gawin na lang natin na ano. Gawin na lang natin na happen. Post attendee. Naka saan na yun? Bakit ganun? What happened? What happened? Bakit nawala? Ala. Nako, nawala ang Zoom ko.
Meron pa po naman.
Meron pa?
Apo, Doc.
Nakikita po.
Launch
Nakikita po yung Zoom
meeting,
nyo.
sabi.
Launch meeting lang po. Click nyo launch meeting, Pastor.
Okay, saglit
Baka
ha.
nakabot po yun.
Bakit ito? Ayaw.
Kung sakali po hindi maka-enter, click na lang po niyo yung link. Yung link nyo kanina.
Dito na nga ito.
I-close na lang po nyo yan kaya. I-close na lang po nyo yan. Tapos click na lang po niyo yung link kanina.
Okay, sige. Sige. Okay. I-close ko muna itong aking...
Naka-share screen pa naman po kayo.
So, nandiyan pa pala ako, ha? Oh, come on.
Pwede rin daw pong end sharing muna. Tapos ipasok po ulit kayo. Share screen ulit.
Stop sharing muna, no?
Dito, no? Pagpapansin ka, no?
Pwede rin po.
Ayun, okay.
Tapos mag-screen share po ulit kayo. Hanapin niyo po ulit yung slide nyo. Saka niyo po yung...
Passing prophecy. What this is happening to me.
Makakanta kayo, Doc.
Ganon. Ito eh.
Ring, king, king. Ring, king.
Siguro ano ba to? Baka may question pa para hanapin ko yung isang presentation.
Sige po. Kung may mga gusto pong magtanong kay Doc, pwede ba Doc sa ibang issue ng sa hermeneutics din?
Oh yeah.
Ibang issues ng mga biblical issues, so kahit hindi na-discuss ngayong hapon. Sige po. Open na po. Open na po ang mga kapatid. Yung mga gusto pong magtanong sa mga biblical issues o yung mga text na kalimitan po na encounter yung ginagamit ng ibang pananampalataya bilang basihan ng kanilang pananayuan po sa kanilang mga ibang doktrina. Baka po gusto ninyong magtanong kay Pastor Cesar. Habang may oras pa po tayo. Naka-ready na rin si Ma'am May Kalim eh. Hello Ma'am May. Good afternoon. Bukas na po ang bukas na po ang ating time para sa mga gusto pong magtanong ng mga ilang biblical issues para kay Pastor Cesar. Related pa rin po dito sa ating biblical hermeneutic subject.
Ako po ay magtanong pa ulit.
Sige.
Pastor, di po ba sabi nyo yung health is isang napakagandang din po natin. Atin pong doctrine na kasama yung pong sanctuary, yung Sabbath, and then yung about health reform. Pero ang hindi pa nila matanggap na, was it really necessary to our salvation? Our health?
Okay.
Sige po.
Siguro magandang tanong yan kasi ang unang-una ay pagka-salvation, ito na nga sana, hindi ko lang makita yung aking ganda yung tanong mo. It caters to my second topic. Pero bakit hindi ko makita yung aking paksa? Health. Ito. Yung ating pag-usapan sana ay yung in relation to salvation. Okay? Tingnan natin. Kung yun ngang health, ay yung sabi nga din ng maraming reform, ay hindi ka maliligtas. Hirap, ano? Paano tayo? Tayo ba dito sa lahat ng narito ay health reformer? Anong masasabi nyo?
Hindi po exactly na talagang yung vegetarian. Makain din po ng
I do not even use the word vegetarian. Because vegetarian, kapag tiningnan mo uli yung sa Spirit of Prophecy sinasabi, ay yun yung maski sa Genesis 1:29 at saka doon sa Councils on Health ng Spirit of Prophecy, ang sabi, nuts, grains, fruits, and vegetables. Ilan po ang binanggit?
Bali, 3 po ba or 4? Prunes, nuts, vegetables, and
grains, fruits, and vegetables. So, ang vegetables, pang-4 lang.
Opo.
So, hindi tama yung vegetarian na term. Mas mabuti pa yung plant-based
diet.
Ayun, yung plant-based diet. Ngayon, bakit plant-based? Bakit po? Ha?
Kasama ng fruits po sa plant-based.
Okay, mas tama yung plant-based diet. Pagkatapos, sa Genesis 1:29, ano pong sabi doon? Sa Genesis 1:29, sinong nakaka-recall noon? Ito yung magiging pagkain sa inyo. Anong pagkain daw? Herbs.
Herbs, nuts, legumes.
Hindi, herbs lang of the ground that beareth seeds, and the fruits of the trees that beareth seeds. Dalawang kategorya ang binanggit. Pero pag binalikan mo yung herbs, abay, hindi po isang herbs, madami yan. Doon pumasok yung comment ni Ellen White na nuts, grains, fruits, and vegetables because all of these are herbs. Tama po ba? Tama po ba? Now,
Tama po.
kaya doon pa lang sa term ay mali na ang vegetarian. Ngayon, kung ito ba'y may kaugnayan sa kaligtasan, let us not desecrate the salvation that was given by Jesus. Now, para ganun din, hindi ko makita yung pero kayo at ako ay parehong babasa. Sige, pakibasa nga po yung Ephesians chapter 2, verse 5 and 8. Yan, ito na ngayon ang papasukan natin. Kasi yun sana yung second ko, pero gawin na natin Gawin na nating live. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 5 and 8. Talagang ready ang ating Bible ngayon.
Ephesians chapter 2
verse 5 and 8.
5 and 8, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we were dead in trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved.
Oh, okay.
Verse 8, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and not yourselves. It is the gift of God.
All right. So very clear. The beginning of salvation, that is supposed to be my first slide doon sa PowerPoint na hindi ko makita. Now, very clear na tayo sa umpisa ay dead in sin. Tama? Parsing. Let's apply parsing. Dead in what?
Sin.
Okay. So, we were made alive. Yun ang second sa parsing. Now, yung ikatlo, ang ginamit ay biyaya or ano nga sa English? Ano yung pagkabasa kanina?
Grace.
Yeah. Okay. Pag yun po ang inyong tiningnan, applying study of the definition, which is a study of the word, which is a study going back of the Greek language, ang salita po diyang ginamit ni Apostol Pablo ay charis. Charis. Right? Do you follow, brethren?
Yes po.
Yung charis, ang meaning lang ng charis is, if you translate it in direct English, is a loving kindness and a free gift. Yun po ang charis. Doon nagsimula. Walang iba because we were dead in sin. No? Patay tayo sa kasalanan. Ay dahil nagbigay ng biyaya, doon tayo nangaligtas. Now, going back to the study of the word, as I said, charis, loving kindness, and free gift. Now, gamitin natin yung rule of precedence. Alam nyo, maski batang maliit, memoryado itong talatang ito eh. Pakibasa nga po ang John 3:16.
Po, memorize po eh.
John 3:16.
For God so loved the world that He gave.
Figel, because we are doing parsing. Hello, Figel. When I say stop, we do parsing. For God, what?
So loved the world.
Okay. Is there a loving kindness?
Yes po.
Okay, next. Continue. Go parsing.
For God so loved the world That whosoever believeth in
That
him,
he gave. That he gave.
that he gave his only begotten Son, that he gave his only begotten Son.
Okay. Look at this. Out of that loving God, which is courage, loving kindness, there is a free gift that he gave. Di ba? A free gift. He gave. That is a free gift. Kaya lang, if you are going to ask, who is that free gift? He gave his only begotten Son. Oh, what is the effect of it? Whosoever believeth
in him
shall have everlasting
life. Shall have everlasting.
Kita nyo. Kaya malinaw na doon nagsimula. There is no other place in any of the dot of biblical precept kung saan nagsimula ang kaligtasan. That's why the beginning of salvation. Eh, wala namang ibang mayroong malaking pag-ibig sa atin eh. Charis. It's only God. Now, yung love na yun kasi, pag kayo mga kapatid ay umiibig, pagkatapos hanggang lang sa bibig at walang aksyon, wala pong kasaysayan ang charis, ang biyaya. That's why God acted through giving His Son. Malinaw po ba?
Yes, Pastor.
So His Son is the free gift. Na ang sabi, ang sino mang sumampalataya, anong sunod? Pagkatapos na ibigay yung biyaya, anong gagawin mo? Manampalataya. Tama?
Yes po.
Now, ano ang sinasabi ni Apostol Pablo sa Roma 1:16? Roma 1:16. Romans 1:16. Para makita natin kung paano yun nangyari. At anong tawag ni Apostol Pablo doon sa ginawa niyang John 3:16 ng Panginoon? Romans 1:16.
Romans 1 verse 16.
Okay.
For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ.
Okay, go.
For it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first and also for the Greek.
Oh, you see? So that act of God in John 3:16 is the gospel. Ang good news po in Greek is gospel, no? So that is the good news, gospel. Pag sinabing gospel ay good news. At pag itong good news ang ating nakita, aba ay hindi nahihiya si Apostol Pablo. He is not ashamed of the gospel. Why? So you see how the sequences of question. What? The gospel. And then we apply parsing, the study of word, yung palang gospel ay euangelion. Di ba? Euangelion, gospel. Pag in English mo yung euangelion is a good news. Why can it not be a good news? Because in it, sangayon doon sa sunod na paraphrase, phrase, in it is the power of God. Ano daw nando doon yung power nino?
Panginoon ng Diyos po.
Power of God. For what? Unto salvation. Doon po nagsimula. At doon sa power of God na yun, yung kanyang grace ng Panginoon, charis, no? Biyaya. Ang magandang balitang nakita ni Apostol Pablo na ang sabi ng John 1 And 3:16, whosoever believeth. Kaya doon ay lumabas, doon din sa 1:16, na ang maniwala ay magandang sinyales ng ikalawang yugto ng kaligtasan. Hindi magkakaroon ng kaligtasan kung wala ang biyaya, as I have already explained. Pero yung biyaya yon, ang tawag ni Apostol Pablo, napakagandang balita. Euanggelio, good news. Kaya dapat ang susunod doon is manampalataya. Dalawa na, no? Manampalataya. Ay pag nanampalataya ka, ang sabi naman ng born again, hallelujah, praise the Lord, ako'y nananampalataya kay Jesus. Tapos na sila doon. Pinuputol na nila. Okay? Romans 1, Philippians 2:8 muna. Sunod na talata. Philippians 2:8. Talagang participation to po ngayon. Hindi ko nakita yung slides eh. Romans 2:8. Philippians. Ano ba yan? Philippians 2:8.
Philippians 2:8. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross.
In the example of Jesus, yung faith natin magre-result sa obedience. Excuse me for a while ha, saglit lang na. Jingle. Okay, I'm back. So doon sa binasa, who gave us an example of obedience? Doon sa binasa. Who gave us the example of obedience?
Si Jesus Christ po.
Okay, tingnan nyo ha. Tingnan nyo. Now, mayroong gift, mayroong charis, pagkatapos mayroong faith, sunod. Pero hindi pwede na basta sabihin natin na faith na lang at ligtas na. And that is the problem of the Baptist people. Ang kanilang alam ay faith and faith alone. Nadidinig niyo yun? Faith and faith alone. Pero it has to be followed by obedience. And Jesus gave us the example in Philippians 2:8 how to obey. Biro mo even up to the cross. So, tayong tao, Romans 1:5. Sige nga. Romans 1:5.
Romans 1:5.
1:5.
Through him, we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations.
Okay,
for his name.
Okay, so kompleto ha. Kompleto. Na-receive natin yung grace, courage, biyaya, at saka yung pagiging tagasunod or apostleship. Abay dapat, doon sa sabi, sa second line, ay for obedience to the faith. May faith ka nga, pero dapat ang sumunod ay obedience. Kita niyo po yung sequence? Clear po ba ito?
Yes po. I guess, Pastor.
So, hindi pa basta pwedeng faith in faith alone. Dapat ay obedient. May kasunod na obedience o pagsunod. Ay kanino susunod? That's why we are actually doing parsing. Kanino tayo susunod? Sa mananampalataya. Sa kanyang pangalan. O sino yung pangalan? Hindi ba si Jesus? Clear po doon sa parsing? Si Jesus talaga ang susundin, no other one. Hindi ko na kailangang sabihin na hindi kayo maliligtas. Mamaya papasok tayo doon sa hell. Hindi kayo makapagsasabi na ang pagliligtas ay pagiging vegetarian. Mawawala ng saysay itong mga ginawa ni Kristong ito. Okay? So ang tanong ay ano ang susundin? Gusto kong sumunod eh. Ha? Anong susundin? Ay gusto ko nga sumunod. Ay medyo may problema itong mga kasama nating ibang pananampalataya. Ha? Pag may susunod, may susundin. Tama? Basa. Galatia Kapitulo 3. Ha? Hello. Ano yung susundin? Galatians chapter 3 verse 24.
Galatia ano po?
Chapter 3 verse 24.
Ako na po.
Sige, sige.
Verse 24. Whereof the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified.
Okay, you see? Sino ang nagturing sa ating tayo walang kasalanan? Justified? Yung ating pananampalataya doon sa ebanghelyo or gospel which has the power of God unto salvation. Ay, pambira naman. Tapos hanggang faith lang tayo. Now, pag ginagawa mo na yon, ang tawag dito is schoolmaster eh. Tagapagturo. Tinuturuan tayo. Ay, Lord, ay ano pong gagawin ko? Ay, ang binanggit diyan ang nagtuturo yung law. So, ang law, ang siyang schoolmaster. Ay, hindi pwedeng ako'y mag-iisip na lang anong gustuhin kong gawin. Meron nga, di ba, talaga ako nadinig eh. Medyo harsh lang yung pagkasabi ng matandang layman eh. Sabi, lampas na daw ang kautusan. Ay, pwede ko na bang agawin ang asawa mo? Aba, nagagalit. Hindi pa pala, no? Ay pwede ko na bang nakawin yung property mo? Ay, hindi rin. Ay pwede ko na ba ikaw lapastanganin? Ay, hindi rin. Pwede na bang ang iyong anak ay walang galang sa iyo? Ay, hindi rin. Bakit sasabihin nilang lipas na ang kautusan? And here it is very clear na yung kautusang yun ang ating tagapagturo, schoolmaster. Ngayon, kayo at ako bilang Adventista. Okay? Kayo at ako na bilang Adventista. Naturuan na. Tayo po ba'y gumagawa na ng kautusan? Gumagawa na po ba tayo ng kautusan?
Sumusunod po, Pastor.
Oh, sumusunod na ba tayo? O sige, pakituloy yung 25, verse 25 niyan.
Ako na rin po, Pastor.
Sige.
But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster.
Oh, ay bakit ka turuan ka pa? Ay alam na natin at ginagawa na natin. You see how we understand the text? We are no longer, ang gagawin ng iba, katulad ng mga ibang pananampalataya na 4,200 sa buong mundo yan. Ha? Ang sasabihin, wala na nga tayo sa schoolmaster eh. So, ay paano? Ginagawa na eh. Para ka namang sa anak mo, kitang-kita mo, 2 timbang tubig. Tapos nagsasalok ng tubig, 2 timba. Sabi mo, hoy, magsalok ka ng tubig. Ha? May ganun ba? Oh. Baka yung magulang na nakita 2 timbang tubig na yung bata ay talagang hitad na eh. Sasabihin, hoy, magsalo ka, ay may diferensya ang utak. You see? Galatians 3:24 and 25. We are no longer under the schoolmaster. Ang dahilan ay ginagawa na natin eh. Tayo ba'y nagsasabat? Sino pong nag-church kahapon?
Kami po. Kami po. Kami po.
You see? And then sasabihin mo eh, honor the Sabbath, ay mayroon na nga eh. Kita nyo? Malinaw, ano po? Ang masakit dito, yung pong Mateo, Kapitulo 5, at gusto kong basahin ninyo. Mateo, Kapitulo 5, versikulo 17 at 18. Pasensya na po kayo pag nag-i-stammer kasi wala akong kopya. Mateo 5, 17 at 18.
Huwag ninyong isipin pumarito ako upang sirain ang kautusan. Mga propeta, pumarito ako hindi upang sirain, kundi upang tuparin ang mga ito. Sa 18. Sapagkat katotohanan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, hanggang sa mga wala ang langit at lupa, ang isang tuldok o isang pudlit ay hindi mawawala sa kautusan hanggang sa matupad ang lahat ng bagay.
Okay. So anong rule ang i-apply natin ng hermeneutics then? Study of the word, parsing, tingnan nyo, parsing and study of the word. Ano pong ginamit doon sa huling linya ng 18? Last line of 18.
Hanggang matupad na ang lahat ng bagay.
Okay. May hangganan o wala?
Mayroon.
Hanggang sa matupad.
Hanggang matupad.
Now, para malaman natin kung ano yung tama ang ating pagkaunawang hanggang sa matupad, may hangganan. Bakit po? Ang tawag po, study of the word, definition, rule of definition. Yung pong kautusang ginamit dyan sa rule of definition, going to the Greek word, ang ginamit po dyan ay nomos. Nomos. Okay? Pag tiningnan po natin ang nomos, ang salitang nomos, ang ibig sabihin po ng Greek nomos ay yung mga seremonya, ceremonies, at saka yung mga patakaran sa matandang tipan. Nomos po ang ginamit. Huwag nating gagamitin yan. At yan ang karaniwang nadidinig natin mga kapatid sa pangangaral. Ang gagamitin, talaga ikang hindi lilipas ang kautusan. Dahil ang babasahin Mateo 5:17 at 18. ay hindi po yun ang translation doon. Nomos po ang ginamit. Okay? Tuloy po sa, yun po may hangganan. At yun nga binasa kanina, Philippians 2:8, ang hangganan nun hanggang matupad ni Kristo doon sa krus ng Kalbaryo, Pilipos 2:8. Yun ang hangganan nun. Kasi pagka tayo lumalim na ng gusto nyo sa susunod, hermeneutics of the sanctuary doctrine. Ay, ang ganda niyan. No? Now, huwag kayong ma-excite. Baka tayo makapunta rin doon. Now, sunod. Verse 19. Bakibasa ang verse 19.
Tanong po ako dito, Dok, sa sa 17. Sabi kasi ng Baptist, pumunta na siya na ang pumarito. Hindi upang sirain, kundi upang tuparin. Tinupad na daw ni Jesus, kaya dapat tayo hindi na tumupad.
Correct. And this is the reason kung bakit tiningnan natin kung ano. Tingnan po natin yung 19.
Kaya't sino mang sumuway sa isa sa pinakamaliit na mga utos na ito at magturo ng gayon sa mga tao ay tatawaging pinakamaliit sa kaharian ng langit. Ngunit ang sino mang tumutupad at nagturo ng mga ito ay tatawaging dakila sa kaharian ng langit.
Okay. Hanggang saan yung sinabi nung 19 na kautusan na utos? Hanggang sa kaharian ng langit. Tama? Itong yung binasa nyo sa 18, yung last line, hanggang sa
matupad.
Ito yung importansya ng ating hermeneutics at saka parsing, and then the study of the word, the rule of definition. Ang ginamit po doon ay nomos. At ito tumutukoy, hindi na nga natin gagawin yun dahil tinupad ni Kristo sa krus ng Kalbaryo, sabi ni Apostol Pablo sa Pilipos 2:8. Pero pagdating diyan sa 19, ay yan pala'y walang hangganan kasi hanggang sa kaharian ng
langit.
Ang ginamit po doon sa utos diyan sa salitang Griego again, napaka-importante ng rule of definition, ay entolei. Yan na yung nakasulat sa tapyas na bato. Entolei. So magkaiba yung nomos at entolei. Malinaw po ba? Hello?
Opo.
Yung nomos ay hanggang sa matupad ang lahat ng ito. Alright? So mayroon pala yung hangganan na matupad ay alin ang natupad? Ayun, nabayubay si Kristo sa krus, naging masunurin hanggang sa krus. Pero pagdating sa 19, magkadikit lang kung talata yan, sa huli yung pala'y hanggang sa kaharian ng langit. So magkaiba yung 17-18 sa 19. May hangganan yung 17-18, kaya pati yung sinasabi ninyo na Baptist ay hindi nakakaintindi. But because of the rule of hermeneutics, naintindihan natin. Amen?
Amen.
Kaya maganda yung pag-aaral ng hermeneutics. Pero mo nga naman, magkadugtong lang magkadugtong. Pareho ng chapter, Matthew 5. Yung isa 17 and 18. Hindi raw maaalis ang ni isang tuldok, ni isang kudlit, hanggang sa matupad. Ay, ang sabi,
hindi kaya nila naintindihan, magkadugsong lang naman.
Yun nga study of the word eh. That's why the rule of definition is very important.
Di
ba? Magkadugtong, but the rule of definition takes place and take its rule. Ay nomos yung isa entolei. Yung isa may hangganan. Sabi ni Apostol Pablo, hanggang sa krus. Nakapagligtas na si Kristo eh. Ito namang isa na entulay ay hanggang sa kaharian ng langit. Ayun. Halina po.
Dok. Ilo, Dok.
Hello.
May tanong ba, Dok?
Sige.
Ilo, Dok.
Okay.
Tanong, Dok, si Sir.
Sige.
Dok, yung sa verse 18, yun pong tapos yung sa verse 19 po, Dok, sa first line, sabi po doon, at sino mang hindi po nagtuturo sa mga utos nito ay iisipin po sa kaharian list.
Okay.
So saan po yung naka-refer, Dok? Refer po yun sa last phrase ng verse 18?
Ayun. No. Yung verse 18 may katapusan kasi ang ginamit doon ay yung nomos, yung kautusan binabanggit ng 17 at 18. Pero yung kautusan na binabanggit na sa 19 na hanggang sa kaharian ng langit ay entulay. Ganoon kahalaga ang pag-aaral ng rule of definition.
Pastor, follow up.
Sige.
Thank you, Pastor.
Hindi, bago ka mag-follow up, klaro ba yon?
Hindi kasi Pastor eh.
Hindi pa?
Oo, kasi ano ba ang tinutukoy dito sa 17 na law? Ito ba ay nomos or entulay? Kasi
sinabi na sa inyo na yung 17 at 18 repeatedly ang ginamit ay parehong nomos.
So bakit po ba bibigla na lang na magiging entulay sa 19?
Wala tayong magagawa. Yun
ang pinapag-usapan ay yung law na sinasabi dito sa 17 at 18.
Ay pwede mo naman baguhin kung gusto mo. Pero yan ang nakatala eh. You go back. English version, basahin mo, tingnan mo. Magkaiba rin. English version. Sige, English version pareho hanggang 19. Kaya nga tayo nag-aaral ng study of the word eh. Pakibasa. English version.
English version 17. Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy but to fulfill. For assuredly I say unto you, till heaven and earth passed away, one jot or one title will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled.
Anong ginamit? Law? Sa English?
Law po.
Sa 19, tingnan mo.
Whoever therefore breaks one of the least of these commandments.
Sa English pa lang, magkaiba na eh. Lalo kung gagamit ka ng Greek Bible. Yung law na binanggit doon is nomos, dalawa sa 17 and 18. Pero pagdating sa 19, English ay commandment, that is entulay. So anong magagawa ko? Do I have to change the word? Tama? Importante. Ano sabi ng rightly dividing the word of truth? The workman need not to be ashamed. We can defend it.
Tama, Dok. Possibly, Dok, yung verse 19 po, Dok, Pastor, hindi po yung nag-refer sa preceding text, kundi ito po yung tumutukoy sa succeeding text sa verse 20 downward na tumutukoy po sa 10 Commandments, which is the
Wala eh. Maski yung English word doon sa 17 and 18, ang ginamit ay law, pero pagdating sa 19, ang ginamit ay commandments. Pagdating sa study of definition using the study of the word, and this time the Greek, lalong lumayo. Nomos versus entulay.
Tama po yun, Dok.
Ngayon ko lang kasi na-make ang ano na ito eh. yung idea na ito na magkaiba pala yung tinutukoy sa 17.
Yeah, it is the Bible idea using the rule of hermeneutics.
Dati yan, Elder. Dati yan. Tanungin mo kay Pastor. Yung interpretation lang natin parehas nung una. Pero iba talaga yung nomos at saka intuli.
Agree po ko sa iyo, Pastor.
No, kaya nga, excuse me. Kaya nga sabi, workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Ay pag mayroonong din ng ano, baka mapahiya tayo. Oh. And there was a preacher, Adventist preacher, na chinek ko dito. Because nung sabihin niyang hindi lilipas ang kautusan, he was using verse 17 and 18. Sabi ko, sorry. Totoong hindi lilipas ang kautusan, magkasama tayo dyan, but you are using a wrong text. I'll be using verse 19 ng chapter 5, but you are using 17 and 18. Ang linaw naman doon sa huling linya ng 18 eh, hanggang sa matupad. Oh, may hangganan, wala?
Meron po, Dok.
Oh, that is the rule of parsing. That is the rule of
Dok,
parsing.
kung hindi mo alam na talaga nomos pala ang ginamit dyan at iba yung nagamit doon sa 19.
Yes.
Actually, I expect na tama sana, magkasama sana lahat yung verse na yan eh. Pero yung nomos at intulay, siyempre talagang magkaiba.
That is the importance of our study of hermeneutics. Eh kung wala itong hermeneutics understanding, will we arrive at the right understanding of the scriptures, and then we are rightly dividing the word of truth, and therefore we will be a workman that need not to be ashamed.
Pastor, pwede magtanong?
Sige.
Hello. Hindi po kaya tapos yung intulid at yung specific na natin commandments.
Paputol-putol ka, kapatid. Hindi ko Paano? Ano, again?
Hello.
Pakiulit.
Hello po.
Sige, go.
Umabay ko siya ng headset.
Go.
Hello.
Walang piliti yung mga salita mo, kapatid.
Kasi walang audio.
Kaya hindi nakakarating dito sa atin.
Putol-putol.
Sa chat bro. I-chat lang bro.
Dapat hindi lalabas.
Hello. Hello, Pastor. Arnel Cagas po.
Okay.
Gusto ko lang po linawin itong sa Matthew 5:17, itong law na sinasabi dito. Hindi po referring sa Ten Commandments po.
Paano nga? I mean, nag-aaral tayo ng rule of definition, and the rule of definition entails the study of the word, and the study of the word going back to the Greek ay wala pa tayong makikitang ibang salita kundi nomos. Kasi
so iba yung nomos, iba na yung Torah, ano po?
Ang Torah po, yung nomos at saka yung intulay, nakasulat po sa Torah. Ang Torah po is the 5 books of Moses. That is Torah. Doon mo nakikita yung dalawang yan. Pero silang dalawa ay magkaiba.
Sige, salamat po.
Kung hindi natin aaralin itong hermeneutics, di talo na. Okay?
Iko na.
Thank you, Pastor.
Okay.
Nandiyan na
Welcome,
yata
welcome
yung next
very much.
speaker.
I hope naliwanagan natin, ha?
Opo, Pastor. Opo.
Yes po.
May susunod naman na session, Pastor.
Sige. Bye-bye. God bless us all.
God bless us all.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Pastor Cesar. Thank you very much po.
Okay. Maglilib na muna ako, ano?